Religion is the manifestation of the divinity already in man. Education is the manifestation of the perfection already. So it is the manifestation of the core truth about our being.
How Maya has got these two powers, one of projection and one of concealing. I like to call Maya not an illusion. I call Maya a divine manifestation.
Every question is manifestation of what?
I say now from this ring, let us take out the gold and throw the gold. No, give me the ring.
It's not that the world is floating in Brahman or the world has Brahman. Brahman is appearing as the world.
Absolutely.
How it is looked upon in Advaita Vedanta is, when you serve him, you are actually worshipping Brahman. There's no difference.
Shiva Jnani Jan Seva Vivekananda ne kaha dukhiyon ki seva jo karta wohi Shiv ko pata.
There is only one consciousness. I can't even say unit of consciousness. It's
Yeah.
not a unit. Only Brahman is there. So all our Mahavakyas actually are saying that only. Prana is used in the scriptures as, you can say, the physical manifestation of consciousness. Liberation, the mind, the soul merges in the Paramatma, mind and body fall away forever. This happens only to the enlightened. Advaita Vedanta, it is the very highest height of Vedanta.
Correct. What do you need to make a computer work? Then we need hardware and software. I tell them, but what about if the hardware and software is there, but there's no power supply?
Best way to bring this knowledge to the common man, to the common masses, is to revel in that state of pure being.
When you realize, you don't memorize. The moment somebody is free from karma, then is there possibility of rebirth or there is no rebirth? Karma yogi. Living 100% like a karma yogi, which means, oh Lord, everything is thine, nothing is mine.
Right? People are thinking of soul as something inside the mind, like a box within a box within a box. They are thinking of it like that. Right from Pranmay Kosh to Anandmay Kosh. All of that entire package and the Atman is carried over.
I does not exist. I is enlightened. The ego is enlightened and therefore I am liberated because I am not I. Can we decide what rebirth we will take?
Om Asato Ma Sadgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Namaskar. So lovely you started with such a beautiful prayer. Welcome, my dear friends. Today is a divine moment, a very divine moment with Pravrajika Divyanandaprana ji. We will call her Mataji. But the name itself, Divyanandaprana, is so divine. Divine blissful soul is the breakup of her original name, but we will leave that as we refer to her as Mataji as the order calls. Quick introduction, though she doesn't need an introduction. She is a monastic member of the Sri Sarada Math, the female wing of the Ramakrishna Math, which is a part of course, the Ramakrishna mission. Mataji, Ramakrishna order. She is known for her engaging lectures on Vedanta, science, spirituality, and very often she addresses topics like self-realization, the harmony of religions, and practical spirituality. She also delivers talks at prestigious institutions, IITs, other forums, promoting the teachings of Sri Ramakrishna Paramahansa, Sharda Devi, and of course, Swami Vivekananda. So I welcome her with pranams. It is such a pleasure, privilege, honor, joy to have you. In a few minutes, I was just chatting before the cameras came on. I said, we better stop and start talking on camera so we don't miss. People should enjoy the podcast. Mataji, tell us. There are 8 billion people in this world. Everybody's running after something or the other. Tell us in your own words, what do you think is the purpose, the very purpose of our existence?
All deep thinkers come to this particular question. So the very purpose of existence is to manifest itself fully, which means you can say whatever is the real substance of our being, that should get manifested fully. Vivekananda put it very nicely, you see. He said religion is the manifestation of the divinity already in man. Even education he defined like that. Education is the manifestation of the perfection already in man. So it is the manifestation of the core truth about our being. If that can come into effect in everyday life, in normal terms, in our speech, in our walk and talk and everything, then I think that would be the real purpose of our being here.
But how man has forgotten who he is. When you say that, Vivekananda Swamiji says that what we are, that perfection or that manifestation of the divine in us, what do you think is the cause that we have forgotten it? Today the world, and as I look at the world, I think we are forgetting more and more. We are getting deeper into ignorance, as is what I look at it. But what do you think is the cause of this, that we don't know our true existence?
Advaita Vedanta will say, you see, it's Maya.
It's Maya.
It's a veil thrown over our intelligence, our buddhi, so that we don't know who we are, but we are very comfortable being identified with what we are not. We're very happy about that. About being just a body, mind, persona. We're happy about that. So this is Maya. In plain terms, so to speak, it's in our own experience all the time. We are the self. We are pure consciousness functioning through a body-mind complex. But we tend to think we are body and mind. And consciousness is blocked out. No idea of consciousness.
The most essential part of it. Very often I tell people, I joke with them since you're saying this. I want to come back to Maya. But very often I tell people, a computer, can the hardware work without the software? Then they say, how? I say, okay, can't, right? Now I ask them, can the software work without the hardware? So they're ready, I'm tricking them. I ask them, so what do you need to make a computer work? Then we need hardware and software. I tell them, but what about if the hardware and software is there, but there's no power supply?
Exactly. It's like that.
So your consciousness, what you said. Since you talked of the word Maya, and there's a free-flowing chat, so we will go as we move along. So when people are quite confused about Maya itself. People are thinking Maya is some kind of illusion. The word, if you go to dictionary, I think they define the word Maya as an illusion. And with the new quantum physics and the wave-particle duality, people have become, kuch bhi nahi, nothing. Everything is Maya. So tell me, because I am here to learn from you today and share whatever I have learned in this conversation, how would you explain Maya?
Well, the technical definition is ya ma kintu pratiyate iti Maya, which is not there but appears to be there because of the effects it's throwing on our intelligence. That is Maya.
Okay.
So, well, if you go by the way of Advait, since you are also an Advaitin, these are all things which you exactly cannot grasp with the intellect. It's a primordial ignorance which sort of covers the soul. You can't ask, uska ant kahan hai, uska beginning kahan hai aur ant kahan hai. You can't ask questions like this for the simple reason it is a kind of veil being thrown over our intelligence. We are not able to see why this is happening, but we can get out of it. You can put an end to ignorance.
Correct.
The way to put an end to ignorance is knowledge. Knowledge of the self. Here, knowledge is not about mind, ideation, mentation, vrittis. It's not that kind of knowledge. It's not objective knowledge. It is knowledge of self.
So would you say when people talk about how Maya has got these two powers, one of projection and one of concealing.
Yes.
So it conceals the truth and projects the myth.
Yes.
Do you agree to that?
Yes, Avarana and Vikshepa are the primary qualities
of Maya. That's what creates Maya. But I want to learn from you one thing today. In my recent realization, I like to call Maya not an illusion, which people think. I call Maya a divine manifestation. So what I believe that this whole you and me, the butterfly, the bee, the tree, the mountain and the sea, everything beautiful that we see is not an illusion that people think is Maya. It is real. It is there. It is not that the mountain and the sea. A lot of people think, oh, Maya ka matlab wo mountain nahi, that mountain is not there. Or, no, it is there. You also are there. I am also there. But we are not there. We are there because we are only manifestations. So I don't know whether you would like to add. I'm just trying to, because this is one thing I try to help people. I often take a gold ring. I give them a ring. I ask them, what is it? And I make them wear. Then they say, it's a ring. I say, now from this ring, let us take out the gold and throw the gold. No, give me the ring. Then they say, how can I give you the ring? So tell me, do you think the Maya can be referred to as a manifestation? What do you feel?
Yes, but then the primary question is manifestation of what?
Of the divine. Yeah, of the divine.
Like the ring is a manifestation of gold.
Correct.
So like that, this entire Maya, which you may call it Maya, whatever you call it, it is a manifestation of something.
Isn't it Brahman?
It is Brahman.
Yeah, it is Brahman.
It is Brahman. See, how it is looked upon in Advaita Vedanta is, it's not that the world is floating in Brahman or the world has Brahman. Brahman is appearing as the world.
Absolutely.
Gold is appearing as the ring. And water is appearing as the wave. Not that wave is in water. So this being the truth.
Yeah. Why do people call it, why can't people change it from illusion to manifestation? Because illusion is an illusory way of...
Vivekananda used repeatedly the word manifestation.
Okay.
This world is not to be dismissed as something non-existing.
Absolutely.
It is Brahman itself which I am seeing through these senses and mind, which are smeared by Maya. I am seeing it as the world of change, of delusion, of ignorance. But actually it is Brahman alone. So if I am able to remove this veil, reality will shine forth by itself. See, Ramana Maharshi used to throw great light on this concept since you are asking for it. He would say that you don't attain the self through the mind. You can't capture something like the infinite Brahman into a small vritti.
Absolutely.
You cannot bring stillness into the mind. When the mind subsides, only stillness is there.
Beautiful.
Only awareness is there.
Beautiful.
Only consciousness is there. So the essential point is, Maya will move aside if we search for the truth. If we ask for the truth. Knock and it will be opened. And then you realize you're knocking from within.
So just like you said, it's like trying to empty the ocean in your bathtub. And sometimes when people talk the mind, I tell them mind. Where is the mind?
Where is the mind?
I give you a ball. They say ball is yellow, round color. I said, you've seen the brain, you've seen the heart pictures, MRIs, X-rays. But mind, who has seen the mind?
True.
Vivekananda Swami, he said something very beautiful. I don't know how you would call it. What I written a song. The song says, Shiv Jnani Jan Seva Vivekananda ne kaha dukhiyon ki seva jo karta wohi Shiv ko pata. You must be saying it in some different way in Sanskrit, right? What do you...
It's the same thing. It's Shiva Jnane Jiva Seva. That's the motto of our order.
Okay.
Yes. The reality is only Shiva. You are seeing him as Jiva. So Shiva Jnane, you do Jiva Seva.
The one who serves humanity, he is the one who is doing puja.
Yes, and you are only serving Shiva through that.
Absolutely.
Because the reality is only Shiva there. You thought it was Jiva.
This is exactly what manifestation is. Shiva is manifesting as the destitute, manifesting in every human being.
And that is the truth about this creation. See, you ask the reality about that destitute, that poor person, that patient. What's the reality there? It is Brahman alone shining through that body-mind complex. So when you serve him, you are actually worshipping Brahman. There's no difference. This is the philosophy of our order.
So that comes to your point. Therefore, every human being is essence. It's not the body that will die, not the mind you cannot find. Each human being is what I call soul. And for me, the acronym of soul, I say S-O-U-L, spark of unique life. S-O-U-L. So tell us, what do you believe of how the Atma is the Paramatma? Is part of our
right.
How would you explain this, that every Atma is Paramatma?
There is no every Atma. There is only Atma. The fact is, see, there are not many Atmas and another Paramatma. There is only one consciousness. I can't even say unit of consciousness. It's not a unit. There's only consciousness it appears to be, sort of localized in different bodies and minds. It appears to be like that.
Yeah.
And so we think then there are different jivas, there are different identities, different personas, and we tend to identify with body-mind complex. But the fact is only Brahman is there. So all our Mahavakyas actually are saying that only.
Absolutely.
The Upanishads are saying this only, this much only.
But
There's no other.
I want to pull you a little bit on this matter. See, you're absolutely right. The Atma in you and the Atma in me are not two Atmas. It is Paramatma manifesting as your Atma and my Atma. But as we sit here today, we are two Jivatmas. You are a separate Jiva, I am a separate Jiva. As it appears to be, you look like female, I look like male. But in reality, in Advaita, there is no male and female. So while you said it very beautifully, you caught me from my back of my ear. But for people to understand, one of my favorite things I do, I take two balloons. I don't know if you've seen me. I take two balloons and I tell them, I blow a balloon and I blow another balloon and I ask them, where did this air come from? First they tell me air came from your mouth. I say, okay, if I blow 100 balloons, 1000 balloons, where the air is coming from? Not from my mouth. Now they get it. They say air is coming from everywhere. Then I tell them, if I release this air and release this air, I'll give you 1 crore rupees. Give me white air separately and blue air separately. Can you give me?
Exactly.
They say impossible.
Exactly. It's exactly like that.
So my point is, I want to just, whether we slip somewhere, no doubt that Paramatma is one. But when we say Atma is a spark of unique life, the Atma in you is Paramatma. And the Atma in me is also Paramatma. But is there any doubt that as long as the Atma is in you, it is unique for you and it is unique for me, although it is that one supreme manifestation? Would you like to clarify this point, or are we...
Traditionally, Advaitins would not agree with this. They
I
will say,
want to understand, yeah.
Yes, they would say that consciousness has absolutely no attributes. It has no qualities. You can't qualify it with anything.
Okay.
The very nature of consciousness is it is pure being. It is just existence itself. But at the next level, when it reflects in the buddhi, you can still qualify it. When you hone the buddhi, it's like a spark of intelligence within you. You can use all these terms for the same Atma. Yeah. But in itself, it is only the very essence of existence. It is consciousness. It is bliss. Satchidananda's ka swarup hai. There's nothing else about it.
Correct.
It is the light using which the mind shines forth and thinks and imagines and has memory, thoughts, feelings, all this. So it's the fundamental, you can say, substratum of all manifestation. That is the Atma.
It is a prana, your name itself.
Yes.
The prana that you're talking of.
Prana is used in the scriptures as, you can say, the physical manifestation of consciousness. It is used like that many times. It is the vital energy within us, and vital energy alone manifests as mind also. Its highest manifestation is mind. Its gross manifestation is breath. So that's how prana is used in the Upanishads.
Yeah.
And prana is satyam, but Atma is satyasya satyam. The truth of prana is consciousness. Atma.
Today I'm going to take you a little bit away from your technical and what you've been, because you're very, why I'm saying, see, my mission is to try to make people understand simple words.
Yes.
I am at a very low level. You are at a very high level. Why I'm saying I am not a sannyasi like you are.
You can never say who's at what level. By God's grace, It's not a matter of who's where at all, It's the same Atman shining in all beings.
But today I'm going to talk to you in a common man's point of view. Because otherwise you are always talking from a very high intellectual point of view. See, Mataji, we have to make every individual understand that Tattvamasi. This Tattvamasi, they don't understand. When my Guruji told me Tattvamasi 25 years before I awakened, I could not even read Tattvamasi. What is it, Tattvam? I could not. Tattvamasi. Hari Om Tat Sat. These people in the normal day-to-day life are not able to fathom. They are not able to. And if I tell, Insan mein Bhagwan hai, every human being is God. they say, "Are you crazy? What are you talking about?" I mean, it is beyond their, forget about imagination.
Right.
So, in simple ways, how does a man understand that you are not what you see in the mirror? You are a divine soul, you are Atma, Paramatma, you are the God that you have been praying to. You have been going to temple for 10 years, 20 years, 30 years. This is our challenge, Mataji. How to make, what is your secret method? How to show people that you are not this, you are that?
Well, I will tell you from experience, the common mind cannot wrap itself around something like this. In fact, the human mind cannot grasp Advait. Advait is that, you can say, knowledge which comes when the mind drops. It is insight, deep, you can say, insight into the nature of consciousness and existence itself. So, the best way to bring this knowledge to the common man, to the common masses, is to revel in that state of pure being. It's not even a state, but I have to use some word.
Yeah.
If one can do that, a Vivekananda, see, this is the difference. A Vivekananda, a Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, a Buddha, a Ramana Maharshi, reveling in that state, deeply in touch with reality to such a measure, Jesus Christ, to such a measure that the people around them could catch it. It's magnetic in effect. If we just touch that state, the core of our own being, you get the power to transmit it. In fact, then you are not doing it. It's happening by itself. For the simple reason that mind gets ignited, as it were, with that knowledge. And it becomes super powerful, and mind affects mind. And it's not even through mind, finally. It's just the power of the soul. Yahi to, what they say, the power of God. All that we have to do is touch the very core of existence, which is shining right in our heart, right within us. And automatically it gets transmitted. But if we don't have this first person experience within ourselves, I told you, if we are intellectually trying to do it, people cannot wrap their minds completely around it, because it's not available to the intellectual gymnastics. Consciousness is something so subtle, it'll go under that.
What you say is 100% right. That's why I hate to use the word mind itself.
Yeah.
Because for me, MIND is misery, ignorance, negativity, and desire. MIND. So I always use, I understand exactly what you're saying. But instead of saying one mind touching another mind, I say one consciousness touching another consciousness. Because it is the chit, it is that insight, it is that being, it is that Prabhu, it is that Atma in us that is touching. Mataji, this is what we are trying to say. And like you said, knowledge you can get from college. But unfortunately, some people will give big lectures in such a manner, but the essence is not there. So I tell people, sometimes we have a live session every day, 8 o'clock on Zoom. Then they ask me the question, people from all over the world ask you questions. How do you memorize all the answers? I tell them, when you realize, you don't memorize.
Exactly.
How can you memorize? Because do you have to memorize where is the nose on your head? You don't memorize, I have a nose. You know it. You don't believe it. But that is the challenge. See, for example, a lot of people, they are confused about rebirth. They are confused about how we can. So today somebody asked me the question, can we decide our rebirth? So since somebody asked me the question today, I'm putting it to you. How would you answer this question? Can we decide what rebirth we will take?
Your karma decides your rebirth, and two things decide, your sanskars and your karma. Now you have the power to make good karma. So in a way you can decide your next birth. But most people are not so conscious of their everyday actions. They are on compulsive mode. So if the karma is not very positive, then according to your karma fal will be your rebirth. But still, we have a power within us, the power of the human will, of human intelligence, that we can determine our karma, the nature of that karma. Doing lot of good ensures a good future, no doubt about that. That's the simple karma theory. So in a way, we have the right.
So we can do good karma and get good destiny, or we do bad karma, we cannot escape from
You cannot escape.
But whatever karma we do, we cannot decide what karma will give us in the next janma. That is in the hands of karma. We have no power about it. But we can decide to be free from karma.
We can.
That is in our hands. Now, for example, if you take up a monastic life, if you give up the identification with the body, mind, and ego,
that's right.
Then who does the karma belong to?
Exactly.
You are free from karma.
Exactly.
And don't you agree that the simple thing, the moment somebody is free from karma, then is there possibility of rebirth or there is no rebirth?
If one person is completely free from karma, then there is no more rebirth.
This is a secret people don't understand. So therefore, what is moksha? Moksha is nothing but being free completely, like what the Bhagavad Gita says, karma yogi. Living 100% like a karma yogi, which means,
right.
Oh Lord, everything is thine, nothing is mine.
Right.
If this is the attitude,
yeah.
Correct? Is it something
yes.
we're missing?
No, this is. But it's not that easy to be a complete yogi.
Yes.
What most people are doing is they are attempting towards the state of yoga.
Correct.
To be completely selfless and entire work is completely nishkam. This is a very great state.
Yeah.
It comes with a lot of sadhana. That's why what I do is I always insist on sadhana. Rather than, intellectual grasp on spiritual subjects is easy, relatively. But
yes.
Sadhana is not easy. You have to, the entire body, mind, everything has to be trained in a particular way for sadhana to happen. According to the highest Advaita Vedanta, even sadhana may not be required, but that is only for the highest kind of people. For all of us, the mediocre group, we require a process. We require a sadhana. You require a way, a method of going there. So just intensify the method, the sadhana. Everything will be revealed to you by itself.
You are talking about Nishkam Karma. But people think of Nishkam Karma in different ways. How would you explain Nishkam Karma?
Actually, selfless work, that is something, it is a very elevated state of mind. If real Nishkam Karma is there, no other yoga is required. Just through that, you can make the big breakthrough. Once, I can tell you this incident from Thakur's life. Because you're well acquainted with Sri Ramakrishna's life.
Yes.
There was, once he was sitting with a group of devotees and Naren, the future Swami Vivekananda, was sitting there. And Sri Ramakrishna was explaining to them this Vaishnava theory of how to attain God. So they have all these ideas, they have Name Ruchi, Jive Daya and Vaishnav Seva. These are tenets of Vaishnavism which help you get closer to God.
Okay.
So Name Ruchi is taste for the divine name. Jive Daya is compassion for all beings. And Vaishnav Seva is service to fellow Vaishnavas. So when Sri Ramakrishna was saying this, he suddenly went into ecstasy, into a deep state. And then from there he spoke. He said, but Jive Daya, compassion for living beings. Who are you to show compassion? You yourself are a bound jiva. How can you show compassion? It is not compassion. It is not daya. It is seva. Shiva Jnane Jiva Seva. Knowing the person in front of you to be Shiva himself, you give him whatever service is required at that point of time. You are not serving the jiva. You are serving Shiva.
Beautiful.
That is the truth there. That is the existential truth there. The psychological truth is he is another person. We will look only at the existential truth. The reality of things is this. And that is why that Naren was sitting there, he grasped this point immediately.
Okay.
And then when he came out, he said, today I learned something great from the master, from Sri Ramakrishna. If the time comes, I will expound this to the world. So his entire Karma Yoga, Nishkam Seva, is based on this motto, that it is Shiva Jnane Jiva Seva. We never serve jivas or people in need. We are only worshipping Shiva through
Manifestations.
His manifestations, which appear to our mind as jivas. But the real fact is everything is only Ishwar Moy. It is all Brahman.
The problem, Mataji, is the ego. Even when doing seva, the ego stands tall like a wall.
Yeah.
I am doing.
Yeah.
The moment that I am doing,
That is the problem.
Ah,
That is what makes it then, sakam. The entire seva, the mode changes. So when it is done for the ego or for anything concerning me and mine, then it will become sakam.
As you explained something very beautiful, but I just want to ask you in two parts. The lower level is somebody says, I am doing good karma because I want the fruit of that.
Yes.
I am doing good because I want good.
Yes.
To me, that is lower level.
Yes.
Okay, I don't want the fruit. Look at this. Now, the next level, I am doing good,
Yes.
but I don't want the fruit.
Yes.
But still, I am doing good.
Yes.
Still, we are caught. So,
Still
we have to escape both these, correct?
Both these. They are all levels of the same ego. Ego is actually nothing trying to be something. It's a manovritti. It is technically defined in yoga psychology very beautifully. Ahamatmika antakarna vritti. This is ahankar, the I maker in us. It's not there. It's just a vritti, but it assumes great importance. Because it wants to constantly assert itself. It gets attached to the persona that way. So only inquiry, Vedantic analysis will remove the ego.
How do you normally try to guide people on answering the question, who am I? Because I find people use different theories. Somebody may use Drisya Viveka, there are so many methods of what we call this realization or awakening to the essential truth.
Yeah.
The essential truth is first, if somebody asks, what is the most important question we have to answer in life? The first question according to me is, who am I? Correct, because self-realization only leads to God realization.
Right.
So how do you normally try to explain this?
See, primary method is only inquiry.
What inquiry?
Who am I?
Correct.
What am I? You can put it that way also. And the question can take different forms. It can take, what is that which does not perish within me? That which persists even when the body falls.
Correct.
What is that? It may take this form. It may take the form of what is permanent in existence.
Correct.
And there are various these kind of questions which people put, but the essential thing is this I sense implies what? Who is it? See, if you just study the mind also, who is it, the one who's studying the mind? If it is a thought of the Atman also, who is the witness of that thought? Any way you do existential inquiry, you will come to Vedanta.
Come back to consciousness.
To consciousness. You will come to the Atman. So there are so many methods, so many pointers. And you can take Panchakosha, which are
the 5 layers you peel layer by layer. What is ultimately? So very
Avasthatraya, which are.
So when I awoke on the 31st of August 2014. At that time when I woke up, I was talking to Dadaji and one of the discussions we had, we said, suppose in this room we call the biggest surgeons and scientists. We lock this room. There is not, it is airtight. Now we take off the skin and we keep it carefully. In modern technology, we take off the bones, we take off the blood and keep it in beakers. Okay, nobody has left the room. Everything is in this room. Now the same doctors, the same scientists, now they come together and put back everything together. Will the life come back to the body? Once the body has been dismantled, the life cannot come back into the body. So, but nowadays I found all this to be very complicated. So Mataji, what I tell people, I want your comment on this. I tell them, what was your birth date? And they tell me my birth date was 20th of December. But I tell them on 19th of December you were kicking your mother. So 20th was only your arrival date. 20th was not your birth date. So then they say, yeah. I was actually conceived 9 months before. This is very easy for people to reach. Then I leave them with a bell ringing in their head. So you were born 9 months before. What were you? Who were you? In the form of the zygote. In that zygote, now without the divine consciousness, without the Atma entering those two cells, could you think conception take place? What is your view? Mother Teresa brought about this point when they talked about abortion and things like that. She said, no. When two cells become one, that means the life, the prana, the Atma has come. What do you feel about this?
There is an Upanishad called Garbhopanishad, which is giving a stipulated time when, the Atma is not something which enters into a growing embryo or something like that. it is in consciousness that life emerges.
So without
Consciousness is primary. So all these life functions should not actually be touched upon at all. Let the natural course of things proceed as they do. And the essential thing is to give the education, primary education given to every human being should be regarding his own personality. What constitutes the I? Primarily, it is consciousness. It is in consciousness that life manifests. It is through consciousness that life manifests. It is through consciousness alone that birth, life, and death happens. In consciousness alone. So, if this much sense comes into a person, he will not try to dismantle the ways of nature, not touch upon all this at all. Keep all these intact, everything, life processes, only dive deep into self-knowledge.
and the inquiry, like you said,
Inquiry.
Mataji, a lot of people are confused on the soul taking rebirth.
Yeah.
Can you give what your thought? Because how to me the soul is that what in the Bhagavad Gita I think we all have heard, the soul is birthless, deathless, it cannot be burnt, it cannot be.
Yes.
So how do you explain whether the soul taking rebirth, this concept, when people ask, how do you address this?
See, there's a lot of confusion about this concept for the simple reason people are thinking of soul as something inside the mind, like a box within a box within a box. They are thinking of it like that. The actual fact is, consciousness alone it manifests through a body-mind complex. What happens at death is the body falls,
Right.
but the mind and if you see the Panchakosha model, right from Pranmay Kosh to the last, the Anandmay Kosh, all of that entire package and the Atman is carried over. That is called the Sukshma Sharir. You see, the Pranmay Kosh, Manomay Kosh, and Vijnanamay Kosh is the subtle body. And then Anandmay Kosh is the causal body. That, along with the soul, the light of consciousness, all of that is carried over.
Correct. But
coming back into another body
Uh-huh.
will be according. So you see, you're carrying your mind with you. So
Correct.
your sanskars you carry, your karmafal you carry.
Correct.
Now, according to the nature of that karmafal and sanskars, that soul will get another body.
But the soul is not attached to the Sukshma Shari. The soul is independent.
It is never attached.
It is so that soul does not take rebirth.
Neither is the soul born nor does it die, actually speaking.
So there's no question of the soul having
We
rebirth.
are talking in relative terms only because speech itself is relative.
Correct.
Mind itself is relative. So we are talking only in terms of speech and mind. It will always be small knowledge. Only samadhi, the state beyond mind, will give you real knowledge, and that is nothing to talk about.
But as we are talking today, a lot of people who are seekers, a lot of people come to me on the Zoom call, 8 o'clock every night. And then there's one question that they get confused. So they ask me, the Sukshma Sharir, the mind, ego, man, buddhi, chitta, ahankar, the Sukshma Sharir is a product of Karana Sharir, which is avidya, which is ignorance. The moment there is no Karana Sharir, there is no avidya. In reality, at the moment of death, there is no mind and ego. It was caused out of ignorance. Therefore, the karma does not exist because I does not exist. I is enlightened. The ego is enlightened. And therefore, I am liberated because I am not I. The body dies, Atma becomes one with Paramatma, chapter is closed. The question they ask, if the mind and ego does not exist, if the mind and ego actually does not exist, then how does it take rebirth?
It's all an appearance.
Yeah.
The point is, see, this liberation, the mind, the soul merges in the Paramatma, mind and body fall away forever. This happens only to the enlightened.
Very, very rare minority.
Yes,
Absolutely.
Yes. The rest are carrying huge baggage. They are carrying a lot of karma fal. And they are carrying karma fal from the past.
Yeah, the Sanchita Karma is
everything they are carrying.
Correct.
So they will be forced. It's a kind of compulsive way of coming back into another body. And that is, see, it's kind of predetermined. Right in this life, you can make out where the person's karma will take him.
Right.
You can make it out. So it's superfluous to say, well, nothing will last after death and all that. It's a non-thinking way of interpreting things. So in case we really believe that there is a Sukshma Sharir, you should know very well it is carrying huge baggage. And according to its karma fal and sanskars, it's going to come back. But if a person can get enlightenment in this very life, automatically it means karma mukti, because only when your karma has become so clean and pure that it no more binds you, that enlightenment becomes possible.
Correct.
See, this is the
And that
whole
is
point.
that is mukti.
That's why a saint, sadhu, everybody's karma, you should watch the karma. If the karma is pure, clean, luminous, he can only do good. He's incapable of bad or negativity. Then only he's a sadhu.
But
Then only he's enlightened.
don't you also agree to this, that as long as we are free from karma, then mukti? But if I say I keep doing good karma, can I get mukti, or do I have to come back to be rewarded? What is your understanding?
No, see, the fruit of karma obviously is going to come to you. If it's good karma, good fruit is going to come.
So you have to come back.
No, but what happens in the case of a spiritual person is he becomes nishkam.
Ah.
The fruit of that karma also I don't want. The good karma fruit also, fine, I don't want. Let it go for the good of the world. That will be his attitude. So automatically that karma fall also is not going to. See, an illumined person, nothing can bind. An illumined, you can say, soul, who's really gone, has got real first-hand knowledge. Nothing can bind, because he knows the entire way of life.
He has realized.
He's
Nothing.
realized.
Yeah, he is nothing. Karma is not his.
But he will keep doing good until his prarabdha goes on.
Correct.
Until the entire sanchita is exhausted, he will go on with doing. He can only do good.
Correct.
His sanskars have become like that.
But he is a divine instrument. He becomes a divine. He surrenders himself completely. In this journey of enlightenment, of spiritual awakening, according to you, are there stages? For example, we tell people, in our teaching, I tell people, you need to be a mumukshu, that longing, that deep longing for God, and a jigyasu. So these two steps you must start with, the curiosity for knowledge.
Yeah.
Then only I tell them you can become a jnani, a yogi, and a buddha.
Yeah.
But it's not enough. You must grow to sthit pragya, you must grow to jivan mukta,
Yeah.
and then you can remain a Satchidananda Atma, which you say.
Right.
So are there any other steps according to you that
according to the highest Advaita Vedanta, there are no stages.
So what?
Because there's truth and there's falsehood. You leave out the falsehood, there's truth.
Simple.
But this applies only to those who have touched the highest. You know, Advaita Vedanta, it is the very highest height of Vedanta.
Correct.
Okay, the summit of the highest peak, you can say.
Peak of peaks.
Yes. For most people, they are bound by karma, bound by their compulsive ways of thinking. The mind itself is a huge block for them. For such people, there's a graded way of going forward. There's a sadhana, there's a method. The 4 yogas are the method according to our propensities. And you go through a period of sadhana, you go through a period of purification. Everything depends on purification of sanskars. See, the difference between a yoga bhrashta and a jivan mukta entirely is regarding the purification of sanskars. If sanskars have become utterly pure and yogic, transcendental, then he will proceed towards jivan mukti. Nothing else is required.
The doors are open, what you're saying.
Doors are open.
But tell us something more about. I think you're an expert today. I want the viewers to benefit from you. Tell us a little bit on sadhana. Tell us types of sadhana. Give people some. I'm zero in this. So for me, my life is just surrender, complete divine surrender to the divine. But you tell us something about, because you on sadhana.
The journey of spirituality will acquire deep meaning and transformation only if it becomes first person experience, which means mere anubhav mein wo hua hai.
Correct.
That will happen only if there is sufficient sadhana. What is meant by sadhana is, see, sadhya vastu is realization, the goal aimed at. There is a means to that goal. There's a means to that goal. I can say there is no means only when I'm at that summit, you see. I'm seeing the goal right there. Then I can say, well, there's no means. Until then, until you read the life of Sri Ramakrishna himself, so much of sadhana. So you may say, as Advaitins may say this, that you see, the point of realization, there's no sadhana. Yes, at the point of realization, there is no sadhana. But to reach that point, you don't know what you have to go through.
Okay. So what are
Look at the Buddha.
Yeah. He did a lot of sadhana, right?
Which avatar didn't do sadhana? Yes. Sadhana is the gradual transformation of our human consciousness into divine consciousness.
So what are the, so for example, meditation is one important part of
Yes.
sadhana. What are the different parts, things that one must, if somebody wants to practice sadhana,
Yes.
what all should they do?
It begins with moral disciplines, what is called yam niyam in
Correct.
yoga.
Correct.
See, actually the meaning of yoga is that point where human consciousness stands transfigured into the divine.
Correct.
That is the point of yoga avastha.
Correct.
That is the point of realization. Now, if you want to attain that, you have to start from yam niyam. Ashtang Yog ke jo, the first stages are yam niyam, basic ethical disciplines. You're well established in the moral life. Then you go into the state of, pranayam.
Yeah.
You regulate the prana within you. You asan. You learn to sit for meditation properly. Then you go deep into pratyahar, dharana, dhyan, samadhi. So samyama you cover. And then there are further stages after that. Vivekhyati, Ritambara Prajna. So many stages are described.
Okay.
In Vedanta also there is sadhan chatushtay. That is the basic pre-qualification for the study of Vedanta. Even self-inquiry will only work if there is vivek, vairagya, shat sampati and mumukshutva. If this is not there, it will be just another mentation. Like a cloud being blown away, it will get blown away after some time, your self-inquiry. So these are the primary qualifications required for that acuteness of that, the methodology in Advaita Vedanta is inquiry. If your inquiry, it should be like samadhi, the inquiry, the process of inquiry. It should take you there. So such concentrated focus and complete incisive questioning, if it is there, original questioning, it's my own question. It's not not an Upanishadic question that I'm reading. My inquiry. Then it will take us there. And to keep you there, you require the sanskars of Vedanta. It will take you there. But to keep you there, you require vivek, vairagya, all these qualifications. This is sadhana. If this is not there, I peeked into something, I took a good peep into it and then I came back. This can happen.
But it doesn't, no impact. No? There's no impact.
No impact.
But what you're saying is very beautiful. This sadhana is prescribed.
Yes.
A guru will give us a sadhana.
Yeah.
We can do it.
Yeah.
But unless there's grace of God and guidance of the guru,
absolutely,
without this, it's not a prescription.
Yes.
Everybody who does this sadhana cannot get enlightened.
Yes.
Correct? It is not.
Absolutely.
And therefore, you said something very beautiful. How we can be a yogi.
Yes.
Sometimes people don't understand. If you are a bhogi, you cannot be a yogi. Because the bhogi is tied to the bhoga of the world.
True.
And the yogi is individual consciousness united with universal consciousness. Whether it is dhyana yoga, meditation, bhakti yoga, devotion, karma yoga, action, jnana yoga, education. These for the 4 yogas. I was blessed with the 5th yoga. I tell people, prema yoga. And as a prema yoga, I say it's the easiest yoga, what I believe. That is the yoga of divine manifestation or the yoga of love. सब में प्रभु को देखना, सबसे प्यार करना. If we can see God in everybody, then we are in yoga. No, then you don't have to struggle to be in yoga. Are you with me on?
Yeah.
But I think it's very beautiful. What else would you like to share about enlightenment in your own words? Spiritual awakening, enlightenment, something that we should touch before we end this conversation. In your own words, have you missed anything from the subject?
What you said is the ultimate. You see, that level of love where the Jivatman is naturally becomes one with the Paramatman. That pure divine love, the highest. That's the highest, you can say, the peak of every yoga. That's the very purpose of the entire sadhana module. But to get that is not easy. It's not a sentimental affair. It's a complete transformation of consciousness. So, sadhan bal chahiye. I always believe that yog bal.
To spend time in yoga. Right?
If yog bal is there, things become easy. And you are now understanding things in a completely different light. Is one way to understand through the intellect. It's one way to understand through books. Sri Ramakrishna used to give these. It's another thing to understand by one's own experience, by one's own effort. So the purpose of sadhana is that. And Upanishads and all these texts, I would say, they are direct. See, the Rishi's realization has been put into words. This knowledge cannot be put into words actually, but they have tried to do it for our sake. That is the Upanishad, the very essence of Vedic thought. So in the Upanishads, you have direct pointers. Even in the Prakarana Granthas, you have direct pointers to the state of realization. So there are direct means, there are also indirect scenic routes. Take up anything which will work for you. So we identify our yogas. What are the predominant tendencies of our mind? Maybe I'm more of a bhakta, maybe I'm more of a karma yogi. So I take up especially those.
You can choose anyone you like.
And you can combine all four. In fact, we need to combine all four because we have all four propensities.
And you can't live with one. From morning to night, you can't be doing only bhakti or only dhyana. You can't, 24 hours, you can't do meditation.
So Vivekananda suggested this thing. His definition of spirituality is so perfect. Each soul is potentially divine. The goal is to manifest that divinity by controlling nature, external and internal. Do this either by work, worship, psychic control, philosophy, by one, two, or all of these, and reach the goal. This is the whole of religion. And doctrines, dogmas, books, temples, churches, bells are all secondary details.
It hardly matters how you do it, right? That Anubhuti should come.
Anubhuti should come. The ultimate thing is of the nature of knowledge. But the body and mind will feel the impact of that knowledge. That is what is called Anubhuti, the experience. There's no experience to the soul. It's only realization.
Soul is already
that, no.
Somebody asked me, how do you know you're enlightened? So I told, you go and ask a caterpillar, how do you know that your metamorphosis is complete? The caterpillar will tell you, I don't have to know when my metamorphosis is complete. I'll start flying.
Flying, exactly.
When you're a butterfly, you don't have to still crawl. But that is the goal. How can we help people? We all hear which Swami in this world does not say, Bhaiya, you will be born, then you will die, then you will come back, again you will suffer, again. Oh, this is something which is there everywhere. But how? Like you said, like Swami Vivekananda said and Thakurji said, how to escape from this, the prison of people, pleasure, possessions, this jail. We are in this jail and we fail. Right? I give a lot of importance. I want to ask this question before we close. I give a lot of importance to 12 words, the 10 words of the Mahavakyas, the 4 Mahavakyas, starting with the 2 words of Neti, Neti. So Neti, Neti, not this body, not this mind. Tat Tvamasi, the word that I am Atma Brahma, I am Brahmasmi, and Prajnanam Brahma. So I give a lot of importance to this. I tell people, Sanatan Dharma, if you ask me in 12 words, I know Sanatan Dharma is too big. It can be Jagat Mithya, Prabhu Satya, it can be Swaryo. But in these 12 words, the essence of life to me can be grasped. What do you feel about the Mahavakyas?
Mahavakyas are those pithy, concise statements of the Upanishads which are pointing directly to the truth. For a very right mind, Mahavakya alone is enough. A very qualified disciple going to the Guru, and the Guru only says the Mahavakya, Tattvamasi or Aham Brahmasmi. They all mean the same. It means your Atman verily is Brahman. And Aham Brahmasmi comes in the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. Tattvamasi is from the Chandogya Upanishad. Prajnanam Brahma is from Aitareya Upanishad. And Ayam Atma Brahma is from Mandukya Upanishad. So,
I don't know these details.
All these Upanishads are speaking of the same thing.
Correct.
That your Atman is verily Brahman. Realize this. So they are direct pointers to the relationship between what is appearing as the Jiva and whom we are worshipping as the Paramatma. So they are very profound, you can say, insights into the nature of reality, truth, existential reality, not psychological nonsense. So because this is the truth, you see, because Mahavakyas are there, we know the essence of the Upanishads.
And in fact, I am told that all the 4 Mahavakyas come from the 4 Vedas. There are 4 Vedas and they happen to have 1, 2. I don't know which, you are the master in the names. I don't go by. But for me, I try to tell people what my Guru taught me. I'm sorry to say it in your presence.
You should
technical things.
Who your Guru is, J.P.
Vaswani. To say the word also, Dada J.P. Vaswani. So my Guru, he taught me, you don't need to be technical. You should practically,
exactly.
Because I know sometimes the process of being in sannyasi or sometimes in a mission like yours, we all go through a lot of I think you'll also go through steps of religion before you come to spirituality. Am I right? Or you don't touch religion much?
We do a lot of scriptural study.
But
And
religion?
the conditioning process of rituals is used for the simple reason. See, I told you it's all finally sanskars are going to matter. The sanskars have to change. For that, all these processes are used. See, religion internalized as spirituality. You may be following a ritual. You're following the ritual to change your mindset.
Correct. But do you agree that religion is like a kindergarten and university is spirituality? Do you think like that?
Yeah, it is. That is the fact. But that doesn't undermine, you should not undermine the effect of all these things like rituals. Or many times they are very helpful aids towards higher realization. For many people are conditioned that way.
No. It means ABCD. Without the ABCD of religion.
You cannot do a PhD.
Mataji, tell us your understanding of the connection of spirituality and happiness.
I would say there's a direct connection, not a correlation or anything. It's a direct connection because I define happiness as an exponential function of awareness.
How does somebody ask you the question, how will my spirituality help me be happy?
Because what spirituality does to you is it unfolds higher awareness. Subjectively speaking, you become deeply aware. That relates directly with happiness. See, it's only when we are poorly aware, you require objects to entertain you.
Correct.
You require something to distract your mind because awareness is so poor, only vrittis are flourishing. You require other vrittis.
You need pleasure. You need ordinary pleasures.
You need something to correlate with your own mind. But when you are deeply aware, you don't require, these are all synthetic joys, Objective joys are all synthetic in nature. Because now you have a taste of original joy, which is of the nature of bliss. It's not like the happiness we understand. It's not the happiness of objects.
Correct. Which comes and goes.
Which comes and goes and which is very feeble, very small comparatively. But you might have seen look at the Buddha's face. The bliss of pure existence, being, is reflected on that face. The face of Sri Ramakrishna in Samadhi. He used to have such a smile, such radiance on his face that people used to think like he's going to burst with happiness. Like a cracked melon, he's described like that. Once somebody asked him, what do you exactly feel in Samadhi? And he said, if a fish was released from a small pot of water into the ocean, how would it feel? I feel something like that. I can't describe. But his ecstasy would show it.
It's a beautiful thing. It's very beautiful.
This is happiness. If we are really wanting happiness, we must go deep into life, the life mechanism. You will automatically come into consciousness. If we only want, today's youngsters have all kinds of weird theories, I would say, like FOMO, fear of missing out. Missing out what? If it's something worthwhile, then you should have the fear. Some silly pleasure, some silly vritti of the mind. See, just give up all this silliness and make your life deep, authentic. And you'll see how happiness is like a fountain coming out of your heart. So many people ask me, how you're so happy? We really don't have bank account, no family, nothing actually we have. Absolutely nothing. But very happy and contented. How? Happiness is born of awareness.
No, it is a very beautiful. Actually, I have changed the spelling of happy. I tell people, because you tell from a spiritual angle, I tell people, if you want to be happy, it's not HAPPY. It's HAPPY. Because they're not going to give up. Just because you tell the Gen Z to give up pleasure, they're not going to give up. I say pleasure, thoda, little. Second P is peace. Where there's peace is the foundation of happiness. So this they understand. Because when you tell them to do meditation, instantly they enjoy it. Instantly. Anybody doing, don't you agree with me?
Yeah.
Anybody doing meditation, but they don't understand.
Yeah, they don't.
Because you still the mind. You still the mind, you kill the mind. When there is stillness, I tell them there is no illness. They say, what illness? I say fear, worry, stress, anxiety, regret, shame and guilt. 7 miseries of the mind. And 7 monsters of the ego. Anger, hate, revenge, jealousy, pride, greed and selfishness. Mataji, this automatically comes out. But I tell them, what you spoke of Ramakrishna and you spoke about, I said that comes from the third P. You take pleasure, okay, peace, but discover purpose.
Yeah, right.
When you discover your purpose, then then you awaken. And in that
This
awakening,
is the theory in modern positive psychology. It's
Okay.
called Parma.
it's called Parma.
Yeah. Parma means P-E-R-M-A. This is something similar to what you're saying. P denotes positive emotion, positive thoughts, and E is higher engagement.
Okay.
R is relationships, very good, solid relationships. M is meaning in life,
Okay.
and A is achievement.
Wow.
Positive
So
psychology
now-
identifies these 5 factors as, see, there's no pleasure. It's peace, positive emotion. They have come to this.
Pleasure will not last, no?
Martin Seligman's original theory was H is equal to P plus E plus M. There was pleasure, engagement, and meaning.
Okay.
But over that, they have developed Parma. So, see, the
So you-
human mind is such, it will come to the truth.
But what you said was
Gradually.
what you said was the most beautiful. What Thakurji said, that when a little fish, especially in a little, if it's in a glass pot like this, and full day, it is only going in that pot. Imagine the condition.
That's
of
the state of the undeveloped human mind.
and you let that fish
Going
out. So this is mukti.
Mukti.
This is moksha. What we call nirvana.
True.
What a pleasure, what a joy it was to have this with you. I hope we have more opportunities, but I'm so happy that you gave us the time today.
Thank you, brother. Thank you.
Thank
I
you.
also enjoyed the discussion. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for patiently listening to the video. And if you have questions, if you want to contact me, just WhatsApp me on 98451 55555. WhatsApp India 91984515 55555. But if you want to get answers to your questions, then come on Zoom, and the Zoom ID is on your screen. Every day at 8, you will find answers to all the difficult questions of life. See you there.